Rolling. Time to get rolling. Okay, so for today, we're gonna need a foam roller of some kind. Okay, yours might be bigger than this, like longer, that's totally fine. Might be all foam, mine is like foam wrapped around a PVC pipe. Blocks, 2 of them, okay? I have cork blocks, those are really nice. But foam would work, or even wooden ones if you have them. And then 2 balls, so 2 therapy balls. Again, these are cork as well, but you could use 2 tennis balls. You could use lacrosse balls for this, but just go easy on yourself, okay? So today we're focusing on lots of therapeutic stuff because we all need it, and the possibilities are really pretty endless with just these tools. So we'll start really simply with the foam rolling, okay? So now if you've got an area that's been bugging you lately, like you can start there. Like you can really do this anywhere. So if my arm was bothering me, just a gentle little roll back and forth. That's really all you need, okay? As well, calves, okay? Back to the ankles, work it up. You have to work with the roller too, so stay engaged and stay active. We don't want to feel lazy when we're going through this stuff, okay? So we do really want to aim to have that balance of using our strength but softening, you know, like I'm using my leg strength here to allow this roll to happen. I could also lift my hips and find some lengthening there. Now that's going to put a little bit more pressure, so it depends on how much tension you are working through, okay? This feels fine for me, it's pretty nice. Some places, like right there, a little bit tense, so you could always just pause, let it sit, that's what I really like to do, and then roll it out again, okay? So you can do all kinds of stuff with the roller alternately. You can also do the front. So I'm just turning around towards a tabletop pose. Same principle. Ooh, my shins are a little bit more sensitive. So I'm gonna go really nice and slow, but you can roll all the way to your toes, lengthen it out. This is the way I like to do foam rolling. Now again, there's like loads of other people doing videos on stuff like this, and I'm sure they have different ideas and methods they use too. So there's all kinds of options. Okay, but I do enjoy staying awake, staying aware, and just like listen to your body because it's going to guide you. And the places that are really sensitive, don't avoid them, just give them the space they need. You know, like I know my shins are a little bit sensitive. I played a lot of soccer, I've got a lot of shin splints still. So I move slow, yeah? Okay, so that's just another example. Now, when you're going through this, take your time to go through both sides, okay? I'm just doing a little tutorial on a few different ways you can use some of these tools. And when I do this stuff at home, which is like almost every single day, I usually do at least 30 minutes. If I can, I do up to an hour, because other things that you can do aside from just that active rolling is you can use your foam roller to add pressure, like so you can give the fascia, the places that get really tight between your skin and your muscles. It's like these patterns can stay restricted in our body. So putting bits of pressure allows the space for that to start opening up, if that makes sense. So, and there's lots of really fantastic literature out there about this. If you wanted to learn about fascia in more detail, scope it out. Tom Myers is a really good reference, okay? So when you are doing, like right now, I'm going to work through my outer rib cage. So this roller is gonna go on about a 45-degree angle, okay? From my, like, basically my lat down to the outer side of the rib. So if you think of just like underneath your armpit and curving around the ribs, okay? And go slow because we all, again, have different sensitivities here. This is an area that used to be super tight on me and is now getting like way more happy with moving through stuff like this. So you can literally just sit like this. Now, if you're in a lot of discomfort, you might want your hand down. You might want your elbow up on like a blanket so you can, or even a block. If you have like a whole lot of pressure and you're like, ooh, I don't know, you know, be kind, okay? But the point is, you can offer so much control with your elbow on the floor, letting your weight settle in and being awake and aware as you move in, definitely not just dumping your weight down into these positions. And for me, generally speaking in my practice, I would hold this for about anywhere between 2 to sometimes even 5 minutes. But if you're just starting out on this, start with like 30 seconds, maybe up to a minute, and see how you feel, and then just move to the other side, okay? And then you can always build up tolerance over time. And even too, when you're done with one section, you can switch the angle and shift it up and go downwards in your diagonal and rest it across there, getting the outer edges of the rib cage, that kind of region, and you get right in to some pretty intense spaces potentially. So remember to breathe and just be nice and kind, okay? So from here, again, stay as long as you like. One more option though for when you're on your side, you could roll that roller like right into the crook of your waistline, and then you can just settle here because that might be enough, okay? Use the support of your hands to help you. You may be able to lay down nice and easy, enjoying that space, but again, you might need your block, okay? If you've got a lot of tension, feel free to add some height and hang out right here. That's great too, okay? You can also work with the angles a little bit here, but I really enjoy just hanging out in this spot because it feels oh so fantastic, okay? So again, you'd want to hang out for as long as you like, and you can start to move into little bits of action with your lower body as well, and that will start to massage you through the back and get through some more nice little spaces. Again, they might be sensitive, so go slow, okay? And I'm just really simply bringing my knees up, and it's almost like I'm lying back on the roller, but I'm not, okay? Keeping the integrity through that right shoulder, right elbow, or whatever elbow you've got down, whatever side you're doing, okay? And then from there, when you feel ready, just gently undo. Of course, do both sides when you go through this stuff. Something else I really love doing with the roller, and then we'll get into a couple things with the balls, because I want to keep this timing nice for you, is I like lifting my hips up and sending the roller underneath the hips, finding that nice sweet spot on the sacral bone, so the back side of the hips, and just let that weight sink down. Shoulder blades are nice and tucked underneath. Now you may want to hang on to the roller to prevent injury here, but I like bringing my knees up and just hanging out, and then just doing a little shimmy with the ankles. And again, hold your stuff if it's going to roll away from you, okay? Because even though I make it look really stable, it could roll away at any second, but I'm very aware of how I'm rooting my hips down. But if this stuff is new to you, you may be still developing those areas. So give yourself that reinforcement so you can really let your weight settle in. And I was just really letting the feet go kind of wild, letting the knees go kind of wild, but giving that nice massage to the lower back. And then you could lower your feet down. Options, you could always bring the soles of your feet together and open the knees. This is just a nice supportive way to open through the hips. Really good for low back pain as well. And always keeping the breath just smooth and slow through these positions, because especially moving through the areas that feel really tight and congested, like you might get with some of the roller stuff through the side of the body especially, just move slow. Just breathe deep. There may be a tendency to hold on to the breath when things get tough, so just really stay conscious of that. And then I'll just go through a couple more things. So of course, taking your time through those actions, you can always pause the video. And then when you're done using your roller, if you want to move on to the next steps, then you can, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is use our balls, but we do need our blocks nearby as well, okay? So we will start on our bellies. So rolling over onto your belly. Now, before we actually get into using the blocks, I must say too, so we're putting the ball basically right in front of the plate, like right on top of your armpit, right where your pec and your deltoid meet, right in front of the armpit, okay? So there's a nice little divot on the inside of your shoulder and the outside of your chest. That's the place we're going for, okay? So when you lay down on your belly, take your time and just move slow. So you could place the ball there when you're just flat on the mat, okay? Because if you have a lot of tension going on, that might be enough. Or if you're using a ball that's bigger than this too, just see, okay? But likely you'll probably need a little bit of support. So I like to get, you can do both sides at one time, but it can be a little bit intense. So just be kind, okay? And if it feels like too much, you can do one side at a time and relax, okay? So getting yourself set up with the blocks underneath the front of your shoulders, you'll have to play with the angle a little bit, and then situate those therapy balls into that space and just relax. After you've been here for just a few breaths, start to make some adjustments just to the left side by bringing a bit of movement in towards your left hand. So the chest is lifted, the left arm just floats up. Be nice, because again, there might be a lot of tension. And then that hand just sweeps back out to the left and out to the side. Move slow. Fingers reach to the wall behind, and then just sweep them all the way back out to the left, whoo, and down to the mat. Right arm floats up. And of course, if you are doing the right side already, you can just wait till you're over there. We sweep the right hand out to the side, nice and easy, reach it to the wall behind. And then you can come back up, all the way out, forward and down. Okay, so you can continue with that. Of course, too, you could, if you're doing one at a time, or if you were doing both, shift it to just doing one, and you can go even deeper into that one shoulder and just let your head relax down and play with letting your arm rest at the different angles for a bit of time, okay? So those are really nice options to open up the chest. Now something else I love to do, and this is one side at a time, okay? We're taking the ball basically right to the inner side of your hip bone, okay? So find the very top of your hip bone and go down the crest and then go into just like inside that little pocket, okay? So when you're ready, just set that ball up on one side, and you'll know when you get there because it's like uncomfortable but tolerable, okay? So this shouldn't feel terrible. We're aiming to open spaces in towards that lower abdominal region so we can open spaces in the hips and help protect but also become aware of spaces of support in the spine. So just letting your weight settle down here. And you can stay here for, I would do maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 if you're feeling real good. And then do the other side when you feel ready. And then just 2 more things with these lovely therapy balls. One of them is we roll onto our back. We use both balls for this, and you'll probably have to use your hands to help you for a moment. We're putting those 2 balls right at the trap, so right where your neck and your shoulders meet, okay? Head is down, hips lift up, bridge pose. Naturally, your upper body just sends the weight onto those therapy balls and you can hang out. If you need to adjust them, your hands can easily reach, okay? And you can just offer little wiggles, gentle little massage there. You also can roll yourself up the balls if you can get them to stay close together. So you could use like a sock or something and keep them together. Sometimes that can work. But even just for the traps, fantastic. And then I like to use just 1 at a time, but you can use 2, lifting the hips up and setting the hips on top of the balls. And then you can just rock side to side. You can get into the glutes. But again, if you just use 1, you can take your time a bit more and you can get into spaces a little bit more accurately too, right? So enjoying that entire massage for the glutes, for the back of the hips, it's so fantastic. You can get into some amazing places, okay? So it's not a wonder that I spend an hour a day doing this stuff. So those are just a few amazing things you can do with these tools. Definitely take your time when you're going through this stuff and drink lots of water after, because it's really detoxifying. Make sure you breathe sweetly and deeply. See you next time. Namaste.